Hey, Cmax here. Gonna do a review on a Romanian SAR-1. Is this an AK-47? Looks like one. No, it's not. Welcome to the very confusing world of AKs. I'm gonna run through some information that is new to me. I've had this gun for 15 years and the other ones for almost as long, and I never really realized all the nuances of it until I did some research for this video. It's very confusing, but this is not an AK-47. This is an AKM. What's the difference, you ask? Not a lot. They look virtually the same. The AK-47 was the original design. It had a Type 1, and it came out originally with a Type 1 receiver. A Type 1 receiver was a stamped receiver like this one. Then it went to a Type 2 receiver that is milled. What milled means, or the difference between stamped and mills is stamped. This receiver here is basically a flat piece of metal that they stamp, fold it, drill it, put the rivets in, etc. A milled one is a solid piece of steel, and they cut out everything they don't want to be there, basically. Okay, in a nutshell, that's what the difference is. But the original one was stamped, but they had some issues inside with it breaking off from the welds that they made or something, so they went to the milled. But they only did that for a short period of time. They came out with the AKM in like 1959, I think it was, trying to improve production, and several other things. Let's see here. Yeah, the AKM, they started in 1959. There's actually like 90% of everything that you see that you think is an AKM is actually, an AK-47 is actually an AKM. So it's very confusing, to say the least. This one is an AKM, and it's called an SAR-1 made in Romania. This is the peasant AK that I was talking about in some other videos when I was talking about the AK versus the AR. To me, it's extremely crude. I was very shocked to find out that in the AK world, this is considered nicer one. I guess it's all what you're used to. To me, it's typical communist doctrine type of weapon, and just crudeness, and not really what we're used to seeing here in the United States, with a nicer, finer fitting machining and everything else. So you can see the wood's real dark and real coarse, and like right here you can see there's a gap, doesn't fit real well. You'll notice I did put the buttstock similar to what I have on my SKS on here as well, because the length pull, this seems like for a little kid or something. It just didn't fit me very well at all, and that helps out a lot. This shoots a 7.62 by 39, or the commie round, as we've come to call it, my friends and I anyway. Let me go through some basic specs. It's true for the 47 and the AKM. 7.62 by 39 has approximately 2350 feet per second velocity round. It's a gas operated rotating bolt. Has a almost a 16.5 inch barrel. 1 and 9.45 inch twist, chrome lined barrel and receiver. A lot of the original design for the AK-47 came from the German STG-44, which is the first real true assault rifle. And I also read somewhere where it was heavily influenced by the M1 Garand. I don't know how, why, what, but that is what I read. A lot of information out there, but it's just the kind of information that, who is exactly right? Some of it seems to be a little bit contradictory. But it is what it is. Generally speaking, I've always thought that the 7.62 by 39 AK was a AK-47. And then the 5.45 by 39 was an AK-74. Obviously, that's not quite not quite accurate. There are some true AK people that just go nuts if you call an AKM an AK-47. I don't see the big deal personally, but there is a difference. I do kind of want to, just briefly go over that. The AK-47 and the AKM both use same magazine. The parts are basically interchangeable, about 99% of them. This is the 30 round box magazine, steel, very robust. What you come to see, so that's more the traditional look and the AK-47 look. Magazines, I'm going to do a separate video. My videos are getting too long. Somebody's telling me I need to shorten them up. So I'm going to do this review on one video. I'm going to do a thing about the magazines on another one. I'm going to do the shooting on a separate video and then the tear down on the fourth. So more bang for the buck. Does have a little toolkit that goes in the stock. Through this little hole right here. Another big difference between the 47 and the 74 is the graduated ramp here in distance. You see this one goes to 10 or 1,000 meters. The AK-47 only goes up to 800. Another difference, gas block's a little bit heavier on the 47 than it is on the 74. The holes here on the 47 are drilled in the tube here and not in the gas block. There are some internal differences. This one has a thing that's really big on some of them, the Wasser versus the SAR, is these dimples here and here. Supposedly that's to give the magazine some more stability. Now you'll see some stuff like right here. I did that a while back because I was afraid, like from the safety sliding back and forth, it just rubs the finish off, and I was afraid it was gonna cause it to rust. So same here to unlock the gas block. So I touched up what I had, didn't match real well. I'll probably fix that since I got it out and playing with it. But just kind of like the SKS, the sight rate is very short from here to here. It's like 14.9 inches. I just don't get why you wouldn't come from here to there, but there again, it's like the gun was made for a child almost. And if you can see right here, this notch, ain't much to it. Not much to see there. So looking through that, through the front sight, you may notice here, I've got a yellow post on it to try to help the visibility. It really doesn't help because of this right here. I don't know if it needs to be notched out some more or what on it, but the sights kind of suck. My opinion again, I'm not a big AK guy. Another thing on the AKM is the rail on the side. Basically for optics, and I think originally planned for night optics that were kind of heavy. Safety is this lever right here. That's the safety, and that's off. Shoots okay, although this has got the original factory trigger, and there is a thing called trigger slap. And what that is as you're shooting it, all of a sudden it'll like come back and pop your finger through here, and it kind of hurts a little bit. Well, this one will definitely pop your finger. So it does have the trigger pop in it. All right, I wrote down some of the differences that I could find with the differences between the AK-47 and the AKM. Okay, AK-47 was actually developed by, we know the guy, Mikhail Kalashnikov. The Type 1 receiver, the original AK, we're talking 47 now, was stamped. They call that a Type 1. Then it went to a milled receiver, and they call it the Type 2. The AKM is a stamped-only receiver. The AKM, because of the stamping and some of the other things that they've done with the bulk carrier group and whatnot, it's actually 1 kilo lighter. So that's significant in the gun you got to tote around all the time. You've heard me reference the gun weight on like the AR. Just ask any ground pounder, military guy, and he'll tell you that. We already talked about the heavier gas block. Only goes to 800 on the ramp for the AK-47 versus 1,000 on the AKM. Bulk carrier group here, even though this one is reduced metal and is lighter, will actually fit in the 47. Most of the parts will. Now, the AKM has a parkerized finish. The AK-47 has a blue finish. Now, some of the other models, AK variants or models you're going to hear about, you got the 47, you've got the AKM, you have the AK-56. And I thought that was kind of funny because if you remember, the SKS Type 56 is the Chinese model. Well, it's the same thing with the AKs. Their first AKs were done in 56, and even though they made modifications to them too, they never changed the number. So from what I read, all the AK-56s are just the Chinese variant of it, whatever current production is. Then you've got the AK-74. Now that shoots the 5.45 by 39, or the communist copy of our 223/5.56 NATO. So that tells you something right there between the AK-47 and the M16. They thought enough of the 223, or the 5.56 NATO, I should say, round, to abandon it and put it in their new revised AK weapon. So for what it's worth, on the AK versus M16 argument, that's a pretty big vote for the M16, even though the platform's the same. The round, they went from the 30 caliber down to the 22 caliber. All right. The rest of the AK-74 looks just like the AKM. It's just chambered in a different round, basically, as far as I know. Then there's also the AK-101. And basically what the AK-101 is the AKM that is chambered in the 5.56 NATO. So the AK-101 is our M16 round in the AR platform. And that's the big differences on that. This gun I've shot some, not a lot. I don't really like it, to be quite frank with you. The SKS, like I said, the other video, shoots better. But I bought this around the year 2000, give or take. I think I paid $189 for it, if you can believe that, or right at 200, or something really ridiculously low, which is great now. There again, I wish I'd have bought 5 of them. And when we get to the 74, I'll tell you the little story on it. I'll do a review on the AK-74 as well. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Like I said, we'll follow up with a video on disassembly, video on the different mags, and a video on the shooting. So please like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow the safety rules. Always know where your muzzle's pointed. Every gun's always loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger till you're ready to fire. Be safe. Have fun. Thanks for watching.